Up next on the Sports Hit List. Isn't it their job to play?
What would you rather? Would you rather you see LeBron in that regular season game, but you're not going to remember once the playoff comes?
Then there's no competition.
Or no.
There's no competition.
Or the
There
game.
goes the competition. Anthony, Mike, Kenny, how you guys doing? So recently we've seen the NBA players decide that they want to rest during primetime games. We saw Golden State Warriors versus the San Antonio Spurs approximately 2 weeks ago. Steve Kerr, head coach, decided to rest all 4 of his starters. Greg Popovich, some of his players were injured, they didn't play. Primetime game. Then the following week, the Cleveland Cavaliers were set to play the Los Angeles Clippers in LA. The big 3, LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love, all rest. They weren't playing. Well, to the Cavs' point, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love were injured, and LeBron rested. My issue with this is that the following day, they play the Lakers, and all 3 of them play. All of them have 100 points. Played well, very well, against the Lakers, who have the worst record in the Western Conference. So the question to the table is.
But it was a bigger game.
Okay, fine. Okay, whatever. Let me finish my intro. Let me finish. So, my question is, now we're all sports fans, right? I mean, we're quote unquote media, but we are sports fans, which is why we're here. Do we find it a little bit annoying to the fact that you're tuning into a game? Me personally, I was looking forward to that Cavs Clippers game. Like, I actually sat down, had my beer ready to go watch the game. I tune in and I hear Mike Breen say, well, LeBron and the big 3 aren't playing tonight. So I'm like, all right, change the channel. And it's been the second week in a row. So do we have a problem with resting players during the regular season who are gearing up for the playoffs? Is that an issue? And
Well, I came here ready to agree with probably majority of everybody and say that yes, I had a problem with it. I was gonna regurgitate all of the Wilt played 49 minutes in a game and different things like that. And back in the days, they used to travel on trains and still play the whole game and different, y'all flying on plush, private jets and different things like that.
Stop stealing my
But my point is, I had a change of heart because I realized, as I said previously, it's always with the previous generation that the walk was always longer to school and different things like that. So what? They have it more easier. The smarter thing is to rest. The smarter thing, like the travel that they have is crazy, regardless of if it's by plane, train, or bus, or walking. You're playing 3 games within 4 nights in some games. Then you want them to play these marquee games after a back-to-back and different things like that. So I understand. I would rather sacrifice a few regular season games to have a fresh Steph Curry in the finals, which he wasn't last year, and different things like that. To have a fresh Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, who also got injured in the playoffs last year. To have a fresh players, so when the real season comes along, when the playoff comes along, and I really want to watch basketball, and that's where the guys where fans pay the most tickets for live basketball. That's what I would rather see. I would rather sacrifice the regular season for the playoffs.
okay, Mike,
Any day.
I hate it.
because
I just think they've showed the numbers already that it's started. It's not out of control yet, but you're starting to see it increase. That more players are resting. Even good teams, not just teams that are vying for playoffs, but you even have teams like when Boogie was on Sacramento, they were resting in February. They're not even nowhere near the playoffs. You have your team shutting healthy guys down already to secure draft picks. So it's getting out of hand now. We're fans. We're the paying customers. We pay their salaries. At the end of the day, if there's all this TV money, $24 billion, that they dished out, which helps to pay the player's salary. At some point, they have to realize you are paid to play 82 games plus playoffs. If you're not going to play 82 games, then the way I feel is let us fans know before we go to the game, give me some money back, and players take a pay cut. You don't get paid for that game then. because you're robbing the fans. And for players like LeBron to say there's nothing the league can do and just fans just eat it and accept it, it's disingenuous to us as fans. We pay these players salary. If we don't show up, there is no NBA.
Right. Kenny.
To me, it's a matter of perspective. If you're a television network, ESPN, ABC, obviously you're upset. Sponsors of that team, obviously you're upset. If you're a coach or the players, not so much because you're thinking about down the road. So, in that respect, they have to come up with ways to try to help the situation. Because when I was a kid, let's say when the Knicks played the Pacers, they'd have a back-to-back game. It'd be home and home. So it's kind of fair advantage because you're in New York Wednesday night and then you go Thursday night to Indiana. Both teams are traveling, both teams are fatigued, and both teams have to deal with the same situation. Not you have a back-to-back, you have one game in Oakland, then you have the next night in LA, or you have a game in Utah, and the next time you got to go to Clippers. It's not fair to the players, it's not fair to the coaches, it's not fair to the families. Golden State had 8 games in 13 days. You know, these guys, playing basketball, the older you get, you need more recovery, right? I would think they have to fix the scheduling because I don't see, they play 7 days a week. They can play anytime. I don't see a reason for a back-to-back. If you need to have a back-to-back, they have it a back-to-back where if Chicago and Cleveland are playing each other, one plays in Chicago one night, they play in Cleveland the next night. There's ways to figure this out instead of forcing these guys to essentially protest the scheduling. Because why they said a back-to-back, we have to play Saturday night and Sunday. Why? You know we're playing back-to-back, you tying this up for one of those games.
But how about the games that they do rest? Why not rest it for the home
and
games for your local
No,
fans instead of the fans on the
see,
road
you didn't let
game?
me finish because you didn't let me
Sorry.
And then my next phase is they should do it kind of like, you ever go to a Broadway play, let's say Denzel's playing on Broadway, and then if he's not performing, they give you the option to get a refund or watch. They should give the fans that kind of option as well, especially when you got the Cavs coming to San Antonio, and that's once a year. And if they don't see it, then they should either get a discount because, you know, the prices are adjusted for whoever's playing.
Exactly.
It's not the same price across the board.
Exactly.
So if Cleveland's not coming, you got to adjust the price back down to if the Sixers are coming to town. You can't have the same high price and then LeBron don't play and then they're out of $100 per ticket, if not more, because of that time. So it should be, and they should only rest players at the home games, at their own home games, because those fans have 41 chances to see those fans. So if they're gonna do it, it should be kind of like a collective effort to kind of amend everybody's. So I know they're trying to do it next year with, they're starting the season like a week earlier, so they can stretch it out a little bit.
They're going to shrink the preseason and then stretch the season. Here's a point, I always remember this from Kobe. He said he always played every game because of that one little kid. Do we think our players of today just don't care? They don't care for the fan. They don't care for the fans.
That's what LeBron told us. He said
he doesn't
you
care.
can't do anything.
He said he doesn't care. Like, do the players of today not care? Because Jordan played.
It's not that they not care. It's just it goes back to perspective. What's the higher goal? Is it that kid? Is that kid 1 or is that kid 2? Is championship 1 or is championship 2? Obviously, to him, the team goal of winning a championship is greater than one game or a few games that they have to take off because of the scheduling. It's not because they want to. It's because of the scheduling.
So here's another question. In terms of, isn't it their job to play?
Yeah.
Isn't that your, when you sign the contract, isn't that your job? And again, everyone's going to say, well, every job has their sick days and you use your sick days, which is fine. But a primetime game, wouldn't that be consisting of where we would need you the most, especially in terms of being on TV, the networks who are basically paying their salaries? Isn't it like a spit in the face to the salaries, not to the salaries, to the networks? It's your job to play.
You could look at it a couple ways. One, that money's already spent, so it ain't coming back, so it don't matter right now. You know what I'm saying? That's spilled milk.
I'll say this, that fans need to actually stop thinking that because they don't pay the player's salary, if they don't know that. These billionaires actually have the money to pay them whether y'all come there or not.
I remember what I was going to say. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
These, I almost forgot it again, too. I'm bugging. Anyway, as I was going to say, the coaches and the GMs, those are essentially their bosses. And even the owners. So if it's getting okay by the bosses, what's the player going to do? You know what I mean?
Listen,
I mean,
my whole thing with this whole competitive thing, and you just want to be competitive for the
whoa,
playoffs.
whoa. You can't say that because, I mean, if they're competitive, that's going personal, right, Ant?
No, he
we
didn't
can't
say.
say- you can't
He
say
didn't
that.
even finish his statement
My
to make
thing-
it whether it's personal or
My
not.
thing is this: if it's all about being competitive, LeBron only played 20, then play 20 games. I bet you'll be in perfect shape for the playoffs if you only play 20 games. This is what I'm saying.
Nah,
How far?
well,
how?
That's
how
not
all right,
true.
so-
how
so-
long?
So where does it stop?
Where
Is what
does
you-
it stop?
Well,
Wait,
to
wait,
argue
wait.
that point, I think that's also a luxury of being in the position that they are. First place team, they're not afraid of who's coming up behind them.
So they can rest.
So they have that luxury to rest. It's not
That's
like
what
they're
I'm saying.
fighting for
But then
the playoffs.
to me, it's a matter of it's a spit to the face. Like, okay, you don't play a Clippers team, but then a 60-win team. Well, everyone's healthy to play now. Let's
go
use them
blow
as
out the
target
Lakers.
practice.
Okay.
So then what?
Maybe,
like,
maybe,
like,
hold
that's
on,
just
wait,
like-
wait.
that
Think
makes
of
no
it this way. Maybe Tyronn is doing his old coach Doc a favor because the Clippers need those W's.
Oh, see, then it
Clippers
becomes
need those
then there's
W's.
no competition.
Or
then.
no,
There's
There
no
goes
competition.
Or the
There goes the
gamesman-
competition.
No,
if you're gonna help
listen,
the other
let's
team
take
win
it a
games,
level deeper.
there's no
The
competition.
gamesmanship of what if I have to see that team down the road? I don't want to put certain stuff on film that they can game plan
they ain't gonna
against.
see the Clippers.
and
You're not
different
gonna see
things.
the Clippers down
You
the
never
road.
know.
Yeah,
Because listen,
they're not
It's
gonna
guaranteed.
see the Clippers
okay,
down the road.
and then my other point was, what would you rather?
Clippers are done.
What would you rather? Would you rather you see LeBron in that regular season game, which you're not gonna remember once the playoff come or anything like that? Would you rather see him there? Or would you rather see him healthy in the finals?
Both.
No.
Both.
If you had to pick one,
I remember
what would you
regular season
rather?
games now.
Because if you say the regular season and
I don't think-
sacrifice his health
I
for the
personally
finals,
think one game against the Clippers is not going to affect his
But
playoff performance,
Golden-
especially since
Both.
that they're gonna sweep through the East.
No,
one,
but if you think
one
about
game.
it, he rests his team. The Clippers need to win. They don't care about the Clippers. The Lakers is the bigger marquee matchup as far as name recognition. I'll give the Lakers that. So they give the Lakers fans a show. They don't care about the Clippers fans, and they need the W.
And even though the Clippers game is on primetime TV, where more people would tend to
What
watch
do they
it.
care about primetime
Doesn't
TV?
matter.
They don't care.
They still
All right.
they get
he
paid
don't care.
regardless.
Well, listen, I was looking forward to the game, and
No,
I
that's
was
a disappointment. But
Yeah.
think about this: when GSW didn't play the Spurs,
Spurs.
they were playing poorly. KD's out, so they had nothing to lose. If they win, they have basically what Anthony's saying. Gamesmanship, you know what I mean?
So
Don't
you're
give him
agree-
the
you're agreeing
psychological
with
edge.
Anthony?
And as far as he made sense. He's been learning. Since,
I'm not even
He's
going
picked up
to
a
we've
book.
been
He's
doing
been
great
learning,
this whole
man.
segment. I'm not even going to do it.
Can't you
It's-
see?
Right.
All right,
Right.
that'll do it here for the Sports Hit List. Thanks for watching our show. Please continue supporting us on all social media. Thanks for watching. Take care.